Week 5 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few hitters I look to sell and trade this week. The first guy, Sean Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. So Sean Murphy, after having a good few seasons with the Oakland Athletics, got traded in the offseason to the Braves, and obviously his numbers have gone up big time already in that deal. On the season, 8 home runs, 23 RBIs, 19 runs scored, a 282 batting average, and a 413 on base. But over the last couple weeks here for Murphy, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, 12 runs scored, a 316 average, and a 409 on base. So right now he's in the Atlanta Brave lineup where he's hitting prime time right now, 4th or 5th usually. Murphy's hitting in this Brave lineup, and he's got a lot of protection with great hitters like Matt Olson and Riley in the lineup, Ozzie Albies, Michael Harris, and he's taking advantage of it right now is Sean Murphy, and he's obviously plays a weak catcher position as well in fantasy baseball. So right now, while he's hitting the ball great and he's on fire, especially being a catcher, is Sean Murphy. It's a perfect time to sell him off. I know last season had a solid year, still 18 and 66, but right now, while he's at peak value and I think you get a decent starting pitcher, or just trade him for another bat, this would be the time to do it. With April 27th versus the Marlins, 0 for 3 with a run. April 28th at the Mets, 0 for 2. May 1st at the Mets in a doubleheader. A monster day it was for him, 4 for 7 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs and 3 runs scored, with those 2 homers and 6 RBIs being in one game. And May 2nd at Miami, 0 for 2 with an RBI. So Sean Murphy playing good baseball. This Brave team playing great baseball as well. And right now, while he's clicking on all cylinders and the numbers are a little inflated in the early going, this is a perfect time to sell him high this week. The next hitter I look to sell and trade this week Azataka Yoshida of the Boston Red Sox. So Yoshida, under the radar type of signing from Japan this offseason here, and so far he's paying good dividends for the Boston Red Sox and fantasy owners that drafted him. On the season, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs, 17 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, a 286 batting average, and a 377 on base. So right now he's a patient hitter. He gets on base, he knows how to draw walks, and he's showing some pop as well with a decent number at 5 home runs in the early going as Yoshida. And the last couple weeks here, 4 home runs in that time, 13 RBIs, 9 runs scored, and a scorching 375 batting average, and a 415 on base. So right now, while he's tearing the cover off the ball in the early going, even though we don't know what he's going to do the remainder of the season, obviously coming from Japan and not having Major League Baseball experience, he's a perfect sell-high candidate as well. April 28th versus the Guardians, 1 for 4. April 29th versus the Guardians, 1 for 4 with a run. April 30th versus the Guardians, 1 for 3 with a run. May 1st versus the Blue Jays, 2 for 4 with a run and an RBI. And May 2nd versus the Blue Jays in that one, 2 for 3, a homer, 2 RBI. So he's playing great. Is Yoshida showing power, showing batting average, and right now he's a perfect sell-high candidate because, like I mentioned, it's in the early going and there's not much tape on him in his rookie year coming here from Japan. So right now, pitchers could adjust, and he's got to make adjustments as well. He definitely could fall off a little bit is his number. So right now, while he's playing great baseball, he's a perfect sell-high candidate. And obviously, I'm not going to trade these guys just for anything. If you could get good value, get overpaid for these players, this is the time to do it while they're playing great baseball. Next guy's Brent Rooker of the Oakland Athletics. So Rooker coming into the season, not many people knew who he was, and he was barely owned at all in fantasy baseball. But over the last couple weeks here, his percentage has jumped up 70%. Almost as Brent Rooker. So on the season, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, 14 runs scored, a scorching 353 batting average, and a 465 on base. So obviously that's not going to keep up for the remainder of the season. Here's for Brent Rooker. But right now, he's playing amazing baseball, and he's ranked 7th in fantasy baseball as Rooker. But right now, the A's don't have a lot of protection in the lineup, and teams are going to either start pitching around them or taking him more seriously and try to attack his weaknesses. The last few games for Rooker, April 26th at the Angels, 0 for 3 with a rib. April 27th at the Angels, 1 for 5, a homer, 3 RBIs. April 28th versus the Reds, 3 for 3, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. April 29th versus the Reds, 1 for 4. And April 30th versus the Reds, 2 for 2 in that one, a homer, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. So right now, Rooker's scorching hot. Like I said, one of the best players in fantasy baseball. And there's no way he could really go up from here as Rooker, only down in terms of stats and numbers. So right now, while he's playing out of this world, he's a perfect sell-high candidate this week, and I think you'd get a solid starting pitcher in a deal, or a good hitter who's off to a slow start, where he will obviously turn it around. What a good track record. The next hitter, Luis Arias of the Miami Marlins. So what a great deal it's been for the Marlins so far, and pretty even for the most part. Pablo Lopez for Arias was the deal. So on the season for Rojas, he's not going to give you power really or RBIs, and it's all about batting average. And last season winning the batting title in the American League. But right now, out of this world numbers for Rojas in the first month of the season: 1 home run, 11 RBIs, 12 runs scored, a stolen base, a .438 batting average, and a .500 on base percentage. So right now, in 89 at bats on the season, he's running on base half that time is Rojas right now. So he's tearing it up for this Marlin team. It's been a great trade for them so far in the early going. And he's tearing it up, obviously, for fantasy baseball, even though he's not going to bring the home runs and the RBIs. So batting average, on base, and runs scored, he's going to bring as well. And definitely with him qualifying at first and second base, and second being one of the weakest positions in fantasy baseball, he's going to have great value as Rojas. And I think you could get a good pitcher and a hitter in a deal just on this batting average alone right now for Rojas, especially in category leagues and roto leagues. He's going to pay big dividends. April 27th at the Braves, 2 for 4 with a run. April 28th versus the Cubs, 1 for 2 with a run. April 29th versus the Cubs in that one, 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored. April 30th versus the Cubs, 1 for 3. And May 2nd versus the Braves, 1 for 3. So right now, playing good baseball is Rojas, tearing the cover off the ball. I know he's been a singles hitter for the most part and drawing walks and getting on base, but hey, second base eligibility, I think owners could sell him high. And like I said, with other players as well, you can only go down from here as Rojas. There's no way, I believe, we're going to see a guy in the modern day era hitting the 400 range or over 400. So right now, while he's just hitting it all over the place as Rojas, he's a perfect sell high candidate this week. In the fifth and final hitter I look to sell and trade this week's Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. So this Ray team, what a start this season already. Over 20 wins in the early going of the year. And we know this Ray team, they're a solid team year in and year out, but the pace they're on, I don't think they're going to keep it up. And some of these guys playing over their head as well. But so far in the early going for Diaz, he's having some year, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, 23 runs scored, a .319 batting average, and a .420 on base. So he's doing everything, showing power with the 7 homers. Obviously, batting average is great, over 300. And Diaz has always been a player, though, that puts the ball in play. Only 16 strikeouts in 94 at-bats here for Diaz. And over the last couple weeks, he's scorching hot. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, a .425 average, and a .489 on base with 9 runs scored. So right now, while he's hitting at elite levels, is Yandy Diaz. And like I said, showing the power in RBIs as well, it's a perfect time to sell him high. I know he's the table setter, obviously, for this Tampa Bay Ray team, where he's batting first. He's going to get runs. He's going to show power. And he's a hybrid type of leadoff player, like I said, with the power here is Diaz. But I don't think he's going to keep it up. Last season, he got off to that hot start as well. And he finished the season still a solid year, but this power might be a little bit far-fetched, where last season, only 9 home runs and obviously 57 RBIs, where he led off. But he still had a .296 average and a .401 on base. But right now, Diaz is playing a little bit over his head. It's a perfect time to sell him high, and it's good versatility as well for owners to sell him high with first and third base. And I think you can get a solid starting pitcher in a deal for him. April 26th versus Houston, 0 for 4. April 27th at the White Sox, 3 for 5, a homer, an RBI, 2 runs scored. April 28th at the White Sox, 1 for 2 with a run. April 29th in that one, a pinch hit appearance, walked and scored a run. And May 2nd versus Pittsburgh, 0 for 1 in that one, but he drew 3 walks. So right now, Diaz, he's getting on base, he's getting hits, he's showing power. I don't think he's going to keep it up. So right now, while he's playing great, he's a perfect sell high candidate this week. So that's a few hitters I look to sell and trade in week 5 of the fantasy baseball season.